Good evening, everybody. Are you all there? Come fast and join the lesson. Today we start the new lesson. Organisms and Population. Let's start our lesson. So as usual, our subtopics as per CBSE syllabus, the organisms and environment, their habitat and niche, population and ecological adaptations, population interactions. Under this, the mutualism, competition, predation, parasitism are there. And population attributes, these are growth, birth rate, death rate, age distribution, etc. So this is our 10th unit, and the ecology and environment. So we are there for 10 marks. Last 10 marks for our preparation. So starting with one eminent scientist, Ramdev Misra. He is the father of ecology in India. He is the professor of BHU and led the foundation of understanding of tropical communities and their succession, environment responses of plant population and productivity and nutrient cycling in tropical forest and grassland ecosystem. So lot of honors are achieved by the eminent scientist. I'm proud of India. So moving to our next part. The introductory page, ecology. See, it is believed that the term ecology, it is first coined by the scientist Ernest Haeckel. Ernest Haeckel during 1869 and first authentic use. So this one coined first, and the first use by a writer. During 1885. So ecology is basically concerned with the four levels of biological organization: organisms, population, communities and biomes. So look at the diagram. Here you see the level of organization in an ecosystem. So starting with the individual. So the individual, that means an organism. It is distinct living entity or distinct package which carries out all the life process in its body, separate from those in other individuals. So individual organism, that is the basic unit. So this is the basic unit in ecological hierarchy. It's an ecological hierarchy. You know the linear hierarchy. So this is the hierarchy and this is the basic unit. Next, the population. So it is the grouping of similar individuals. When the individuals are grouped, form the population in a particular geographical area or space. So population So it is a grouping of similar individuals in a particular geographical area or space. So next one, that is the community. So it is the assemblage of population. So individual from the population. So population from the community of different species. So in community, plants, animals, bacteria, fungi, which are living in a particular area and interact with one another, are called as community. Now, after community, Then next, that is ecosystem, which is a segment of, it is a segment of nature consisting of a biological community or community and its physical environment, both both interacting and exchanging materials as well as energy. So one of the example you can give a pond ecosystem. Pond ecosystem is an ideal example. Next, ecosystem are from the landscape. Actually, ecosystem form the landscape. And landscape form the biome. So what is biome? It's a very important question, you all know. A large regional unit delimited by a specific climatic zone. Specific climatic zone having a particular major vegetation zone and its associated fauna such as tundra desert, temperate deciduous forest, tropical rainforest, ocean, etc. And the biome are united to form the biosphere. So it is biologically inhabited part. So inhabited part of earth along with physical environment consisting of lower atmosphere, land and water bodies. Everything are there in biosphere. So is it clear? So we are moving to the next page. So that is the biomes. So just we discussed earlier, again I am repeating this one. A large regional unit delimited by a specific climatic zone having a particular major vegetation zone and its associate fauna. So the major biomes in India, see in the diagram, the tropical rainforest, deciduous forest, the deciduous forest here, see the diagram, this is the desert zone and that is the sea coast. So major biomes are there. So now we are moving to the next part. So look at here the different biomes and their geographical distribution. See the tropical rainforest according to color, the temperate forest, the desert zone, tundra zone, taiga zone, grassland zone, savanna zone, freshwater zone, marine zone and the ice zone, and their geographical distribution in the diagram. So take a screenshot for further reference. That will help you to detect the different zone in geographical area. So taking the screenshot, everybody. Now the another diagram shows the oceans, coral reefs, rivers, mangroves and lakes. And now this one, it's a very important one. The biomes can be broadly classified as aquatic biome and terrestrial biome. Look at here, from wet to dry. So decreasing moisture, rainforest, savanna, desert. Temperate forest, temperate grassland, desert. Taiga, tundra. So this is the tropical one. This is the temperate one. That is subarctic and this is arctic zone. And here you see that decreasing the temperature from according to latitudinal distribution from hot to cold zone, that is from rainforest to tundra zone, the temperature are decreasing time to time. So every time, I think this is known to you, that the tropical zone the latitude is 0 to 20 degree. The subtropical zone that is 20 degree to 40 degree. the temperate zone that is 40 degree to 60 degree, and the Arctic and Antarctic that is 60 degree to 80 degree, and here the temperature is below 7 degrees Celsius every time. In the temperate zone, the temperature is 7 degree to 17 degree maximum. In subtropical zone, that is 17 degree to 24 degree. And the tropical zone, that is above 24 degrees Celsius. So according to temperature, the vegetations are totally different. So the tropical zone, that is concerned with tropical forest. Subtropical zone are associated with deciduous forest. Temperate zone, the mixed coniferous forest, and this is associated with Arctic vegetation. So moving to the next, look at here the organism and its environment. Each organism has an invariably defined range of conditions that it can tolerate diversity in resources it utilizes and a distinct functional role in the ecological system. All these together comprise its niche. Here you see the terrestrial biomes. These are the terrestrial biomes governed by temperature and precipitation. So this is the precipitation and that is the temperature, y-axis, and x-axis related with the precipitation, mean annual precipitation are there. Here you see that different zones are there. So the tropical forest, grassland, desert, temperate forest, coniferous forest, Arctic and alpine tundra are according to their distribution in biome. So remember this one, it can be asked in case study type of question and is given me as A, B, C, D, that this one A, so that is the grassland zone, that is B, that is treated as the temperate forest. This type of questions are asked. So you have to remember the area, which part is belong to the which type of forest. So keep it into mind. In this arena, you see look at here. the North Pole, South Pole, so that is the equator, 0 degree. 23.5 degrees south, 23.5 degree north, and that is 66.5 degree north and 66.5 degree south. So if the sun rays are there, so you can change the color to observe this one. Vertical sun rays. So these are there. And as it reaches to this zone, so they are not getting the direct sunlight. So these are the vertical sun rays, and these are the oblique sun rays. So including, so this incidence of the sun rays, the sun ray fading vertically overhead the equator of a spherical earth and produce the high temperature zone. But the oblique ray falling at the two poles, these poles and that poles, here you see the two polar zone, and give the low temperature. So it receives the oblique sun rays, and so the temperature is low here. So is it clear to you all? Now moving to our next content, that is major abiotic factors. So major abiotic factors are, so these are, what are abiotic? So these are non-living factors. Substances and conditions of the environment which influence survival, form, function, behavior, and reproduction of organisms. There are many abiotic factors. So first abiotic factor, that is temperature. So the temperature or degree of hotness and coldness is the most relevant environmental factor. So organisms living in these zones are respectively called megatherm, megatherms, mesotherms, microtherms, and Ectotherms. So depending upon their ability of tolerance, variation in surrounding temperature organisms, these are of two types. See, the stenothermal and eurythermal. So eurythermal are those organisms which can tolerate a wide range of temperature. So the eurythermal so they are tolerate a wide range of temperature. And the stenothermal, these are the stenothermal, so they are narrow range. They are narrow range of temperature. Next factor, the water. See, as per the water content, the thermal zones in the are divided into different arena. We can divide them into this way. So wait a minute. So this zone, that is the littoral zone. This is the limnatic zone. This one profundal zone. And this is the benthic zone. So on the basis of the sunlight getting entry into the water, the littoral zone, so that is also the littoral zone. So this zone is associated with the plant, vegetation and animal also, the littoral zone. And the sunlight reaches at the depth of the soil. Now the limnotic zone, this is the mid zone. This zone is very much associated with different bacteria, the Pseudomonas, Chlorobacter, and this zone is associated with the phytoplankton, the zooplankton. These things are also there. Small fishes are also there. The profundal zone, almost sunlight is not reaches in this zone. Swimming animals are there, some of them. And the benthic zone, so that is no sunlight reaches in this zone. Mostly the decomposers. Mostly the decomposers are associated this one. So moving to the next part. The light. So light is the visible part of electromagnetic spectrum, that is 390 to 740 or 760 nanometer. Photosynthetic active radiation that range from 400 to 700 nanometer. So radiation below the visible light and UV light, while those above the visible light and infrared light are heat waves. So the light intensity, light duration and light quality, so both, see this one, the light intensity, the light duration, and light quality. Light quality influence the number of life process of organism. That is the photosynthesis. Is totally dependent on light. Photosynthetic yield is maximum at equator and the tropical areas. The amount of photosynthesis depends on quality, intensity and duration. The photosynthesis yield 50% at 50-degree latitude. Growth, it is favored by increased availability of food, moderate light intensity and red light. Number 3, transpiration. The stomata generally open at light and close in the darkness. Because of it, light promotes transpiration. So transpiration is further enhanced by heating effect of light. Another important effect of light, that is the germination. So a number of seeds are sensitive to light. I think you all know the seeds which are sensitive to light, they are called light sensitive seed, are called photoblastic seed. Photoblastic seed. Positively photoblastic seed. So the positively photoblastic seeds are always germinate in sunlight. Positive photoblastic. So that is viscum. So this is an example of positive photoblastic seed. Negatively photoblastic seed is also there. They do not germinate in presence of light. Mostly the example is onion, the tomato. These are negatively photoblastic seed. So remember this one, photoblastic seed, and in this arena the positive photoblastic and negative photoblastic seed. So keep it into mind. It's a good question to be asked regarding this one. So photoblastic seed, positive photoblastic and negative photoblastic. Next, another important aspect under light, that is pigmentation. In pigmentation, animals develop dark color in dim light and light color in bright light. That is the concept. In human, prolonged exposure, those humans are prolonged exposure in sunlight. What happened? That caused tanning. What does it mean by tanning? So that is the darkening of the skin. Darkening of the skin. That is called tanning effect of sunlight. Some animals show seasonal color changes. I think you know this one, the snow hare. Snow hare become completely white during autumn. And there they are light green in some plants, become brown leaf, and sometimes show light green in moderate light. Another aspect, so moving to the next, before moving to the next part, just look at here. The movement. Small photosynthetic organisms show positive phototaxis in moderate light. I think you well know the Chlamydomonas. That's the movement are totally regulated by light. The Euglena, the Volvox, their movements are regulated by the light. Phototropic movement. Flowers of some plant open or close in response to the light and darkness. You know this one called photonasty. So light is the another component dependent on light. Look at this one, another event. The daily rhythm of animals. Most animals are active during a particular period. So those are active in daytime. They are called diurnal. Active during night, they are called nocturnal. And active at dawn, that is known as auroral, and active at the time of dusk, that is vesperal. Some are active during dawn and dusk. In both conditions, they are called crepuscular. So everybody write this one. Yes, Ankit, you were right. Diurnal, nocturnal. Diurnal, that is active during day. Nocturnal, active during night. Auroral, active at dawn, that is early morning. Vesperal, active at the time of dusk, that is in the time of sunset. And some are active during dawn and dusk, that is crepuscular. So 4 types, these are all related with light, that is daily rhythm in animal. So moving to the next part, next topic, that is soil. So weathering or breaking of rocks, soil is very much related with the weathering. And the pedology is the science of soil, which involves the humification, eluviation, residual soil, transported soil. These are all related with the soil concerned. So the appearance of different layers superposed one above the in a vertical section of soil is called soil profile. I think you all remember this one. Look at here. The soil profile. So draw with me. Draw with me the diagram that will clear your concept. So you can change the color to detect the different arena. Look at here. These are the different zone. So first, actually we are dividing three horizons, A, B and C. The surface little layer called O horizon. O horizon, it is the surface layer that is the related with organic matter which lies above the true soil. O horizon are divided into two. Look at here. A00, or you can say O1, A0, you can say the O2. A00 is the upper subsoil, upper subhorizon, which contain freshly deposited organic component such as the fallen leaves, the bark, the animal remain, animal excretion. These are A00 or O1. A0 is the subhorizon below the A00 is immediately, this is just immediately above the topsoil. A00, A0. It contains the organic matter in various stages of decomposition. And by the decomposition, the soil are converted into dark, and that is called humus. Next one, the A horizon. So, A horizon is subdivided into A1, A2 and A3. A1 is the uppermost sublayer which is dark in color. A2 is the second subhorizon which is also the area of maximum leaching. Maximum leaching, or it is anotherly called eluviation. A2 layer. A3, so as a result, the slightly lighter in color and slightly deficient in organic matter, organic nutrient. A3 is the, so this is the, this zone, it is a transitional zone, A3. Transitional zone between A and B horizon. So this sub-horizon is lighter in color, compact in nature, with good hydration but poor in microorganisms. Next one, the B horizon. A horizon is, the A horizon is also called the topsoil. Very important question. Topsoil. And B horizon is also called subsoil. The subsoil receive various mineral rich from the topsoil. So it is thus the area of deposit of mineral, or that is also called eluviation. It is also divided into B1, B2 and B3. B1 is dark colored. B2 contained the organic nutrient, and B3 is the transitional horizon. This is the transitional horizon between B and C. And C horizon, this is the irregular shape. irregular shape of rock fragments. Here the biological activity is nil. And the last one, that is the D horizon. So moving to the next page, the response to the abiotic factor. In abiotic factor, see the graph here. This is the diagrammatic representation of organismic response. See the different component here. First, the regulators. Some organisms are able to maintain a constant body temperature and constant osmotic concentration despite changes in the external environment. They are called regulators. The bird, mammal and few lower vertebrate and invertebrate belong to the category of the regulator. These regulators are perform the homeostasis. They show homeostasis mostly through the thermoregulation and osmoregulation by physiological adjustment and rarely by behavioral changes. So the regulators making their homeostasis by performing thermoregulation and osmoregulation. So, evolutionary biologists believe that the success of mammals is mainly due to their ability to maintain a constant body temperature. So constant body temperature means these are endotherms and live comfortably whether there is Antarctica or in the Sahara Desert. So we can adapt them ourselves in this extreme condition. Now the conform. About 99% of animals are nearly all plants do not have mechanism to maintain their constant internal body environment. So their body temperature, when the temperature are getting changes, temperature getting changes with the surrounding temperature, they are called ectotherms. In aquatic animals, the osmotic concentration, body fluid changes according to the osmotic concentration of the surrounding water. The Asterias rubens, they are the conformers. So the question arises, why have all the organisms not developed homeostasis when it is extremely beneficial? So can anybody tell me, why have all the organisms not developed homeostasis when it is extremely beneficial for them? So the reason is that the homeostasis, especially thermoregulation, is energetically expensive. Heat loss or heat gain is directly related to the surface area. So small area, that is the hummingbird, have large surface area as compared to its volume. Yes, you are right. So they will have to spend more energy in maintaining the body temperature as compared to the small sized animal. So it is because of this reason small sized animal do not occur in polar regions also. Here we see partial regulator. So the person of moderate means who is unable to afford an air conditioner in summer or a heater in winter. So the partial regulators, they have the ability to regulate body function to limited extent. Limited extent. Beyond this limit, they become conformer. When the limit, beyond the limit, they are conformer. Further, it is not essential that a regulator of one attribute would be regulator of other attribute as well. If the unfavorable extreme condition remain only for a short period of time, the organism has other alternatives. There are other alternatives in that condition, so they can migrate. They can migrate temporarily from unfavorable habitat to their favorable habitat and return when unfavorable period is over. So this strategy, like a person who is moving from Delhi to Shimla, when, in which season? That is during summer. So that is the migration from unfavorable habitat to the more favorable habitat. So every winter, the Bharatpur National Park, that is situated in Rajasthan, thousands of migratory bird. The migratory bird came from Siberia and other colder regions because that is the unfavorable habitat to more favorable habitat area. That's the reason. Another event after migration, the another one, that is the suspend. Stop for a period of time. That is, we can say the hibernation during winter, estivation to avoid the summer related problem. And some zooplankton, they enter in the diapause. So we already discussed this one, the regulator and conformer. So we can write here a little difference between them. Look at here. So what's the difference between regulators and conformers? So we can write they show homeostasis, but the conformers very little homeostasis. We can differentiate. They maintain their body temperature, but the conformer, the body temperature that is changes and changes according to the environment. Is it clear to you all? So the regulators have a fixed osmotic concentration. They have osmotic concentration. And the conformers, the osmotic concentration of body fluid, that is vary according to that is totally depend on the external environment. The regulators, they consume large amount of energy. They consume maximum amount of energy. Energy maximum. And here the conformer, they have lesser amount of energy. But the regulators, they are more active. But conformers, they are less active. So completed this one. So the conformer, we already discussed, they are the ectotherms, so the animals and plants in which the osmotic concentration and temperature of body change according to the ambient condition are called conformers. Remember this one. Again I am repeating. These animals and plants in which the osmotic concentration and temperature of body change according to ambient condition of water are called conformers. So moving to the next. See the migratory bird, we already discussed the migration. So that means they can migrate temporarily from unfavorable habitat to more favorable habitat. More favorable habitat. And return from there when the unfavorable period is over. Now the suspend means, what does it mean? That is stop for a time. So various kinds of thick-walled spores are formed in bacteria and fungi. You know this one. They are survive under unfavorable condition. Some examples of suspension of life, that is hibernation. Some polar bears during winter season to escape the extreme cold. Some snails and fish are goes for estivation. To avoid the summer related problem like heat and desiccation. Under favorable condition, many zooplankton, lakes and ponds are known for diapause. देखो अंकिता, during unfavorable condition, the plants having the ability to maintain their process by related of their structure, that is poropollenin is one of the structure is there. The sporopollenin helps them to adapt themselves into the any sorts of condition. Some seeds are also able to germinate 250 years later also. So that is the thing, they can suspend their growth in unfavorable condition and during favorable condition they can germinate. So some spores also make themselves, but their duration is not so high in all the species. In winter, larvae diapause is influenced by light also. In winter, the larvae of pink cotton bollworm, they enter into diapause. This is nothing but different form of hibernation. Look the adaptation. So different types of adaptations are found there. The genotypic adaptation are genetic variation which are enabled to subpopulation to adapt itself in a particular habitat and environment conditions. A species with a long range may have some subpopulation. They are called ecotypes. Plant adaptation to the light regime. Some plants are sun plants, you know this one. Sun plants, these are called heliophytes, and shade plants, sciophytes. So remember this one, it's a very important thing. In a forest, plants get arranged in different strata according to their shade tolerance. When the plants are bifurcated on the basis of shade tolerance, this event is called stratification. On the basis of different adaptive features, we also divided different groups. The xerophytes, Under xerophytes, there are different types. Some under xerophytes, the one group is ephemerals. Ephemerals, which are ephemerals? Those are drought escapers. Drought escapers. The euphorbia are this example. Some are annuals. Some are annuals. That is also called drought invader. The plant live for a week even after the stoppage of rains. In this group, the succulents are there. The succulents are also called drought resistance. They are also called drought resistant. The plants have fleshy organs where water and mucilage are stored. In this group, the another one, the non-succulent xerophyte. Non-succulent. Non-succulent xerophyte, they are called drought endurers. So these are the true xerophytes which actually tolerate drought condition. So these are the true xerophytes. In aquatic environment, the hydrophytes are there. They have mucilage, they have roots, mechanical tissue, xylem, inflated organs. Some are there in saline water, that is halophytes. The mangroves are there. Animals also adapted themselves. Animals also adapted themselves in different conditions. We already discussed animal adaptation by migration themselves. They camouflage. They camouflage. It is the ability to blend the surroundings or background. They show mimicry. That is resemblance of one species with the other. And here the important thing, I think you can remember, the mimicry of Batesian, the Batesian mimicry. The mimic is defenselessness. It is, however, resemble to a dangerous or unpalatable model. So the predator usually does not prey upon it. It's a very important thing and one of the important topic for your upcoming exam, Batesian and Mullerian mimicry. So Batesian mimicry, the mimic resemble to a dangerous or unpalatable component. In Mullerian, it resembles of two animal species. Both are unpalatable to their mutual benefit. Here the monarch butterfly and queen butterfly is the example. There is another way of animal adaptation, that is warning colorization. Another adaptive feature is echolocation. That is the whale echolocation adapted themselves. Hibernation and estivation. Diapause. And adaptation in excessive cold condition. So that follow the Jordan's rule, the Bergman's rule in cold hardening. Some behavioral adaptation is also there in the desert lizard, also there. Now moving to the Allen rule. That's an important topic. That is animals of colder areas possesses thick fur, subcutaneous fat, and small extremities. See the example in the diagram of Allen's rule. They help in conservation of heat. During excessive cold, they may undergo hibernation. The cold hardening There are some other concepts by Bergman's rule, Jordan's rule, Rain's rule, these are there. So Bergman rule, Jordan rule, Rain's rule, these are also there to adapt if the excessive coldness. In Bergman rule, the warm-blooded animal of colder areas have larger size. They have larger size. They are larger size as compared to the hotter areas. And in Jordan's rule, the fish of colder sea have larger size, often with the larger number of vertebrae. That is related with vertebrae. Rain's rule, the birds of colder areas have narrow acuminate wings. So related with the bird's wings, that is the Rain's law. So moving to our next topic, population. See, the different keys that indices of density, the population density, the crude density, ecological density, and relative abundance. So take a screenshot here. It is usually expressed the number of individual per unit area of volume. That is the population density. Crude density, it is the size of population in relation to the number per unit of total space. Ecological density is the size of population in relation to the number per unit of habitat space. And relative abundance, these are the time relative indices which can show the changes in number with respect to time. That is number of birds of a species spotted per hour in a unit area in a specific time. That is the relative abundance. So everybody come and get the important part of the lesson of population attributes. Very few are there. Stay in tune for getting more and more information from this chapter. So the birth rate, in the population, so birth rate, that refers to per capita births, death rate that refers to per capita deaths, the sex ratio, that is the ratio of number of males and females in a population. Now the age pyramid. So a population has three ecological age group. That is pre-reproductive age. Number 2, reproductive age. Number 3, post-reproductive age. So the age pyramid, so this one, the increasing population. This is the stable population. This one expanding. And this one decreasing, declining. So that is the triangular. And this is the bell-shaped, and that is the urn-shaped pyramid. Remember this one. In the population growth, the natality refers to the number of births during per given period. Mortality, the number of deaths the population given period. Immigration, you know this one, immigration, the number of individuals of the same species that have come into a habitat from whereas during the time period under consideration. Immigration, the number of individuals of the population who left an habitat gone themselves during the time period under consideration. So see this diagram. Immigration, that increases the population. Natality, that increases the population. Immigration, that decreases the population. Mortality, the decreasement of the population. So that are related with the population density showing in this diagram. So therefore, if n is the population density at t time, so we can write nt plus 1 equal to nt plus birth plus immigration minus death plus immigration. So remember this one. So the growth model are shown here. The exponential growth. So exponential growth. So the population size as per growth time. The exponential growth that are related with resources, that is food and space in the habitat, are unlimited. Each species shows its full innate potential to grow in number. If in a population size if the population size n, the birth rates per capita birth are represented as B and the death rate are represented by small d, then the increase or decrease in n during the unit time period t that means we can show dn by dt. So n is the size in the period of t, that is equal to b minus d into n. Let b minus d equal to r, then dn by dt equal to rn. So integral form of the exponential growth equation is nt equal to n0 ERT. Here nt, that means population growth in t time, n0, that is population density at time 0, r is the intrinsic rate of natural increase, that is intrinsic rate, and E, that is the base of natural logarithms. Base of natural logarithms, so that is 2.71828, that is the base value. So is it clear to you all? Note down this one. See the population growth curve. When responses are not limiting the growth, plot is exponential. The limiting of the growth plot is logistic, and K is the carrying capacity. The logistic growth get the resources, the food and space of the habitat, that is food and space that is limited. This leads to the competition between the individual. Because there is a good competition, the fittest individuals survive and reproduce. That is the logistic growth. This type of growth is called, you know this one, Pearl logistic growth. And it described by the equation, that is, remember this one, that dn by dt equal to Rn k minus n by k. So n is the, so here n is the population density at the time t, and R, that is the intrinsic rate. We already described this one, intrinsic rate of natural increase, and K is the carrying capacity. So the life history variation, population overcome, maximize their reproductive fitness, that is also called Darwin fitness. Some organisms breed, because some organisms breed once in their lifetime. That is Pacific salmon fish and the well-known example in plant, that is bamboo. So that is the reproductive fitness. Moving to the one of the important topic, population interaction. It is well known to you. So everybody, are you not sleeping now? So keep steady and get the lesson up to the end. Only few are remaining. So get connected. Commensalism -0, mutualism ++, commensalism +0, competition -, parasitism +-, predation +-. So you can get this example. That's the best way to remember cat and rat. Commensalism. Between crocodile and bird, mutualism. Sucker fish and shark, commensalism. Birds compete with the squirrels for nuts and seeds. That is competition. Both are negative. Parasitism, ascaris and human. One plus and another is minus. Predation, that is lion and deer. So that is the another one. Moving to the next part, the predation. See the biological control, predation, methods to control pest. There are some importance in predation. Biological control. So, prey population, prey population, biological control, of weeds and pests, species diversity, and the vegetation. In competition, it is the rivalry between two or more organisms for obtaining the same resources. So they may be intraspecific, they may be interspecific, both are there. In this concern, you read this topic, the Gauss hypothesis, the principle of competitive exclusion, the competitive exclusion or the phenomenon is expressed in the Gauss hypothesis. In the parasitism, different types of parasitism are also shown. The ecto, and endoparasite. Temporary and permanent parasite. Holoparasites and hemiparasites. Stem and root parasite. Pathogenic and non-pathogenic parasites. Hyperparasite. Intercellular parasites. And brood. Remember this one. Brood parasitism. Remember this one. Anybody tell me what is brood parasitism? The cuckoo and crow is the example of brood parasitism. Commensalism. So it is the relationship between two living individuals of different species in which one is benefited while other is neither harmed nor benefited. The pilot fish and the shark, the sucker fish and the shark, some epiphytic plants are also there, sea anemone and hermit crab. These are the examples of the parasite of commensalism. Mutualism. In case of mutualism, both are, see the sea anemone and hermit crab is also example, crocodile and bird. Here both are benefited in case of the mutualism. So moving to the end of our lesson, see everything are there in the mind map. The habitat and niche, biome, tundra, taiga, grassland, forest, desert, abiotic factors, adaptive factors, population attributes, J-carb and S-carb, and mutualism, commensalism, competition, predation, parasitism, all are there. So I think you all get a good preparation from this chapter. So only one chapter is remaining in our term 2. We will conclude this. We will conclude this next day. Till then, good night everybody, and keep attached, like, share and subscribe to get the more and more information of biology. Good night everybody. Goodbye.